Once upon a time, medical professionals would have told you in the past that at 1 year, the condition in which you found yourself after the stroke is how you might find yourself the rest of your life. And that's simply not true. The good news is that for the following months and years, even decades, the rest of your life, you'll continue to heal. You'll remap, you'll reprogram your brain and improve. A great deal of your recovery has everything to do with your degree of motivation. What is your degree of perseverance? Recovery can be painfully slow, but remember, slow and steady wins the race.
Main thing to do is not to give up on yourself, and just plug along, and then you'll thank yourself someday and say, "Wow, man, this is I can move this. I can move my arm."
She's really strong in her desire to do things. She won't give up, and that's what it takes. You have to be determined. You have to be willing to work, and she's pretty good at that.
I was so pleased after I was in there a while because I kept saying, well, how long am I going to be like this? Well, when will I get my feeling back in my arm? And they kept saying, well, Billy, everybody's different. It takes longer for some people. And I said, oh, God. I said, I've got to go to a reunion in October, I've only got 3 months. I have to go, and I'm going to dance.
He works hard. When we left the hospital, or even after the first quote-unquote year, they basically are saying he's not going to walk. And then between us working and we got a new step at home, he's lifting his arm up 3 times as high as they did when he quit therapy, and he's riding using the new step, and we belt his legs together so his other leg is doing the muscle memory for his bad leg, and he's moving that, lifting that more. So even if the therapists try to tell you, don't listen to him. Don't let him say it in front of the survivor, because a lot of it's they say, is mental, and they don't know it all.
Well, I think the fact that, that he's willing to get on the computer every day, that is perseverance, and because he knows it is making his life better. We struggle, we play charades. We still do to a degree, but, in the beginning, or, it's counting, or pointing, I should say, well, there could be 20 things laying on that table. I didn't know what it was pointing at. And, but, I think now with that repetition of using that program, he's able to, come up with those, because I think he felt it was going to make his life better.
I had to really work on getting my routine down in the bathroom. I couldn't remember in what order to do things. I might brush my teeth and put on my makeup. I might have put on my makeup and then brush my teeth, or take a shower, and then what would I do?
Well, we had to do a few changes in the house, like rails in the bath area and that, and so that she wouldn't fall. She knew how to get a hold of them, and she really only had the strength in the one arm at that time. The right arm was a little bit slow, but as time went on, but she had the drive and the desire to do it, and I didn't know how to put her makeup on, so she had to know that, and then she did fine. She did fine. It just took time, and we weren't going anywhere in particular to where she had to, it didn't matter to me. But she did fine, and she learned how to do it.
So I guess I would say understand that it's a marathon. Understand that it is months and years before you notice some significant progress, and be appreciative of that. And also understand that if he said a word or is able to do a task one time, that doesn't mean his brain will allow him to retrieve that again. So understand that repetition and routine is your very best friend.
and he was, get me out of here. Every day I'd go and visit him with the stroke. He'd say, get me out of here, get me out of here. And I'm like, it's not up to me. You know, it's not up to me to just get you out of here. So then he took it up with the therapist. What do I have to do to get out of here? And she said, you have to walk up and down that flight of stairs outside your room twice. Okay, took the covers off, walked up and down steps, said, now get me out of here. So
Yeah.
he can be really, really determined if it's going to get him what he wants in the end.
And also he went on his own and did other things too. He went out walking like 3 miles a day, like every other day. He kept getting stronger and stronger. He did have a wheelchair there for a while, and then he started walking with a cane, and now he's walking on his own 2 feet.
And when we weren't at therapy 3 days a week, we worked here. So that everyday repetition really helped her, especially with speech, I think, because it's almost like starting over as a child in school to build that up.
I think one of the happiest days of my life since that day that she had surgery was I was standing outside at stroke camp and somebody came and got me, and I walked inside to see my sister with a bad arm and hand climbing a rock wall, and the whole stroke camp stood around and clapped and cheered, and she just kept going up that wall. So little by little, through much patience from Faith and her husband, Bill, our Pat came back.
I'm never not bad. I mean, it hurts, but I don't care, you know? Well, someday or twice me in my head, I'll say, oh, it hurts a lot. I'm tired. And maybe twice. And people would call and I don't care. Think I'm here. Think I'm here. Hurts a lot, but who cares?
I actually remember laying in the hospital bed and my neurologist coming in and saying, you're going to be here for at least a week. And I thought, well, I have a meeting on Wednesday. You know, I was actually supposed to go to Europe on Wednesday, and I thought, you know, can you move this along, because I've really got things to do. So it takes a while for your brain to kind of slow down, for your mindset to slow down, because it is so foreign to anything you've been through before.
They told her that I would never be able to do art, to speak, to take care of myself. And now I graduated from the University of Wyoming. I live on my own and I can speak and I'm still doing art. So kind of the big thing is if you get bucked off a horse, you don't stay down in the dirt, you stand up, dust yourself off, and you get back on. And so that's kind of how I live. Yeah, you may fall, and you most likely will after you've had a stroke. And, you know, don't sit there on the ground and just sit there. You get back up and try and figure out why you fell, and don't do that again.
Brain injuries are very complex, and they cover 360 degrees on the arc, but everybody's in a different degree. And so the degree of improvement or the degree of non-improvement is all due to time. You have to wait it out. And the unknown is the worst thing that you have to deal with. That's the number one issue, even above fatigue. Not knowing what's going to happen 6 months, 3 months, etc. down the line. You measure success over a long period of time. It takes many, many months and probably years for people to have success. The best way to get success and hope is to use a balanced approach with yourself as a caregiver and multiple returns to outpatient rehabilitation programs and reevaluation to see if there's something else can be added to the therapy. Some people will have to quit after a certain period of time for insurance reasons, but there's no reason why they can't go back for advanced rehabilitation if that group feels that they can give some help to the individual. It's also very, very helpful to attend all those sessions, if you can, with the survivor. You learn a lot as a caregiver yourself, and you can contribute a lot to the rehabilitation service by telling them what's really going on at home when the survivor may not be able to do that.
Keep going, because you make progress every day. Every day, even if you yourself cannot see it, the caregiver, they're making progress that you don't even know. It'll just come out in a second, in a word, in a sentence, or they'll do something they haven't done. Never, never give up. Just keep going.